Marital counseling now at the turn of the century has been extremely challenging to the therapist. Lots and lots of couple are seeking therapy and counseling, and we therapists are now at the stronger position for the same. More people are seeking help for marital and related problems than for any other issues. So, if we are coming across in our clinics any mental health issues or mental illness, we do find in most of the cases that marital issues are underlying problems or some element of marital issues are there. So now the role of marital therapist currently has been shuttling not just between preserving marriages but also helping couples whether they should decide to stay together or decide to separate. So the trend of marital counseling has been changing, and in the last half a decade at least we see significant increase in the number of couples seeking counseling. See, this is because especially in a country like India, unlike Western scenario, the institution of marriage is diverse and complicated with the elements of traditional cultural patterns. So we have so many castes, races, religions in our country. Somebody said that India is a melting pot of religions. When such a thing is there, you can understand that institution of marriage is so diverse and varied. And currently when there is onset of modernism, how much of problems people are facing in the relationship issue because they are trying to keep to the traditional values and also follow the path of modernism, the westernized culture. So there is a lot of social problems they are facing, lot of stresses they are facing. So today the couple are grappling between managing the traditional beliefs to the practices with the modern values. Study done by Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, says about this. So people are moving from commitment to marriage to commitment to marital relationship. So unlike Western scenario, like I already told you, now the situation in India is very very different because. We have so many religions, more onset of modernism. We are also looking at cross cultural marriages. Okay, so this is a very important phase now for we as marital counselors to step in and help people work on their marriages. So there are many stresses which marital couples face. A study done by Dr. Bhatti et al. In NIMHANS in the family ward talks about various factors like the age of the spouses, the education of the spouses, the jobs of the spouses, the employment of the women marries, the kind of family also matters, and what kind of job they are in, even that matters. So, given all this scenario, there are multiple stresses for a couple. So, if the couple are able to cope with these stresses and different adjustment needs, because these factors will determine the adjustment of the couple. So, if they are able to adjust to these demanding factors, yes, their marital relationship is stable. But if there is a sense of lacking in case of the adjustment of these factors, then we say there is marital discord. So now we have moved from an age of traditional family counseling to professional counseling. Young couples now do not want to seek help from the elderly in the family because they feel quite prejudiced that they may support either one of the spouses or they may advise something which is against their preferences. So they have sought help with professionals like us. Basically, what is couple counseling? Here we are using a set of treatment modalities, if I can call so, to help the couples who are dysfunctional in their relationship to become functional, get back to their equilibrium. So, enhance the satisfaction of the marital life. So, this is what a marital counseling or a couple counseling is all about. So we can use the word couple counseling because cohabitation is increasing in India now. Okay. Couple therapists now have a big challenge. Take it from me, because we have to use different techniques of assessment, different techniques of, I can call it as treatment, to help these people come out of their problems and maintain a stable family or the marital relationship. As a couple therapist, yes, today I'm facing a lot of challenges, right from helping the couple to separate, or even as a matter go to the court, or prevent them from going to the court, or helping them come back to some understanding. So there are variety of problems. So when a couple come to me, I have to judge whether this couple have any indications for marital therapy. When I say indication, whether it is conducive for us to conduct marital therapy. So what are the indications for a marital therapy or a marital counseling? Couple are trying their best to improve the relationship. There will be some minor problems or even major problems. They willingly come to seek professional help. They're well motivated to make changes in their lives. And if one of the partner has mental illness, then along with the medical treatment, if couple counseling is also given, it definitely helps them to improve their marital relationship. Many couple would think of divorce or separating, and before they go to a mediation or head to a family court, they want to give one chance with a couple therapist. So definitely in this case, if they are thinking they should give a chance, definitely the couple therapy here will work for them. Yes, never ending fights can be brought, because they're all small fights, never ending fights. We see, like, even after 40-50 years of marriage, so much of difference of opinions the couple have. Trust issues, fidelity issues, if they are on a very flimsy thing or a threshold, yes, definitely it can be handled. One of them have difficult in changing ways, yes, we can do individual therapy and help them. If they have negative bias, hasty conclusion, and a young couple plunge into marriage without even thinking about the responsibilities in the josh, what we call as josh. So definitely these are some of the indications for a couple counseling. Also, as a therapist, I find a lot of couples coming to me with communication issues. So communication issues can definitely be sorted out by helping them with communication skills, sexual problems, and if they have problems of coping with stress, so they can be helped. So these are all the indications for a marital counseling. But now, what are the contraindications? So when I say contraindications, that marital therapy is not at all possible here. Case has already gone to the court, they have decided, but they have simply come to you. I suggest you should never take this case, because court would have already ordered that the couple should not meet each other or have any kind of contact. So please be careful that you do not entertain such couple and fall into legal trouble yourselves. There is severe cognitive impairment in any one of the partners. Yes, it's not at all possible. Severe mental illness, until and unless it is treated and normalized, until that point marital therapy is not possible. Severe physical aggression, negative personality, and spouse never takes part in the session, they tell lies, and also there is poor motivation for change in both of them. They are very rigid, they do not open up during sessions. You take 10 sessions with them, one of the partner is not at all opening, they're just telling yes ma'am, no ma'am, okay. And they have already decided for divorce. So definitely this is contraindication for a marital therapy here. So coming to the process, now we have understood the indications and contraindications and what is a couple counseling or a marital counseling. So how a marital counseling process takes place? It begins with assessment. So when you begin with assessment, you are forming a counseling relationship, a professional relationship with the couple. It is with both of them. So individually also with partner. So you are having a dyad relationship. So you are taking couple also together, then it is a triad relationship. So first of all, you are establishing rapport, building up that relationship, doing assessment. Sometimes assessments may take 3 sessions, so minimum 2 to 3 sessions is required for assessment. Sometimes you may have to call for other family members also to corroborate a lot of things. Okay. Yeah, and assessment has to be done individually, never take the couple together and do the assessment. So in the assessment, you are going to take all the socio demographic details for each of them, each of their concerns about the marital problems, and you are going to make a uh, diagnosis. I can call it as a diagnosis, or you can uh, frame what is the problem, what is the marital problem here. Then the next phase would be intervention, then finally it is termination and follow up. So intervention session may vary from 6 to 15 sessions or even more, depending on the gravity of the problem which the couples are going through. So you always have establish a contract for couple work. Begin with taking a lot of history from each of them. Then you are going to give some goals. So my therapy, these are the goals. I am looking at, say, communication problems or emotional problems or fidelity issues or sexual issues, whatever it is. You are going to tell them the goal and get them into agreement that this is what we are going to work on. It is very, very important, and many times written contract is very, very essential. So maintain proper file. Okay. So the next would be assessing what are the problems in detail. Whether there is power problem of gender roles, whether somebody is insensitive because of the gender rigidity, because of the gender leadership issues, financial issues, all this has to be assessed. And you also have to assess the expectations of the couple. So now from therapy, what are they expecting, and whether they are going to be ready to understand the needs of each other, ready to work on the goals of the therapy. All these have to be assessed over 2-3 sessions. Okay. Then the entire process begins for you. So what are the specific techniques you use in counseling? Here I am not using any specific therapy. I usually follow a eclectic approach, and it takes in the techniques from all the different kinds of therapy, because I believe in that one particular approach may not help the couple. They may come with a single problem, but there will be larger problems within a single problem. This is like Murphy's law. So we have to employ different techniques here. You have already formed a collaborative relationship with each of them and both of them. You've got assurance and cooperation from them that you are going to work together towards improving their relationship. Throughout the session, you have to use empathy and validation for each of their views about marital experiences. It is very important. You should not be judgmental. Of course, confrontation is different from being judgmental. Active listening is one thing. You have to listen actively, not passive. So this would become passive listening. It should be with your body language, your eye expressions, your hand expressions, head movements, neck movements, or in between asking for clarifications, summarizing whatever they have said so that you have not misunderstood what they have said. And you are going to make the husband understand what the wife is trying to tell, make the wife understand what the husband is going to tell. It's more like a mediator here when you are trying to summarize for each of them. Okay. Then if there is a need for taking separate individual sessions, you should go ahead with that. This happens because one of the partners may be reserved about talking of certain issues in front of their partner. So you have to be very, very intelligent in gauging that and call for separate sessions with confidentiality, and also with their permission that in joint session again what you are going to reveal to both of them. Okay. And whatever the individual problems are there, that you have to See that if it is connected to the relationship problem. So if it is not connected to the relationship problem, don't bring it back to the joint session. So you frame the individual problems only in the relationship angles here. Improving the communication. So many couple come with the communication problem. So how do you improve the communication among them? You are going to help them sit and first listen to each other with empathy. The same thing what you are going to do with them, you are going to make them do for each other. Give time so that each one listens to you for each other for 10 minutes, and then the other has to talk without interruption. So if they are interrupting, they have to ask for apology. In between they may be having lot of misunderstandings, so you have to help each other the ways of clarifying. Here a lot of emotion and the tone, tempo, volume, everything matters. So it's like the husband is like attacking, I did not say that. Again the wife gets on a back foot, so that should not happen. Here you should use circular questioning in asking, when your husband shouted at you for putting extra sugar in the coffee, what did you feel? The wife will tell, I got scared, the way he got angry, I thought he's going to bang me. The same thing you are going to ask the husband. See, did you think your wife felt in this manner? He may agree or he may not agree. So, this way, both of them will start understanding how they perceive each other's behavior. So, clarifying this, helping them to disclose without any hesitation, will build up more confidence in talking directly. Appreciating for directly expressing is one thing which you can ask both of them to do. And teaching disclosing skills, in the sense when they are arguing here, how they can have an healthy ending to the argument. So in your session itself, they should not fight and get out. They should come to one amicable agreement. Let it be temporary agreement, partial agreement, वो भी सही है, फिर भी agreement आ गया तो आपके सेशन में वो सेटिस्फाइड होके जाना है उस टाइम में. ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट होना है आपके सेशंस में. Next, you have to teach them mostly using the I statements. Instead of telling you did this, you did that, I felt like this when you did that. That makes a lot of difference in the communication. So most problems when communication issues come here, this is what you are as a counselor is going to face, and this is how it has to be addressed. More in the ways of role playing with them. You ask the husband to take the role of the wife, wife to take the role of the husband, so they understand each other's position, what it is, the gender sensitivity develops there. Yes, how do you help them with the stress? All of them face stress. Some of them are overwhelmed with stress. The stress can be even aggravated because of the other issues, the larger family issues. You have to build coping capacities for them. The first is sit down with them and list out all the different stressors. They have to rank the stressors and agree, both of them have to agree which problem they are going to tackle first, and agree that this is how we are going to work on the particular stresses. So here again I am stressing again and again to use role play. So through in this session, whenever you are doing, you have to give opportunity to both of them to speak. You cannot tell, no, today I'll only allow husband to talk and the wife is just a listener. No, she will feel you are partial and she'll never come back to you. She'll say, what kind of a therapist? That should not happen. See, not equal amount of time, but make them feel that equally you have dealt with their problems throughout the session. Yes, you have to allow them to explode during your session, get angry, fight. You will understand what exactly is happening back at home, but you have to give that time out to them. Okay, 10 minutes are over that both of you are arguing with each other. Now put a full stop. You have to now listen to me, let me talk. The same thing has to be followed back at home. Tell them that if your people have do not no control over your timing of shouting and screaming at each other, keep an alarm. Whenever you are ready to fight, keep an alarm. So that helps you stop, or both of you walk away from each other. Take some time. Later, when you feel cool, come back and discuss. The same thing you adapt in your session. 10 minutes of silence. Tell them now both of you are not going to talk for 10 minutes. Even I will not talk. Okay, so this way they will understand the anger management, how they can cool down their negative emotions, and later on how peacefully they can talk to each other about the problems. But also make them understand that this expression of anger, crying, shouting at each other, if this is not expressed, if this goes unexpressed, it will be replaced by further negative emotion, further frustration. It may even lead to mental illness. So I told you, help them draw boundaries for the emotions. When I say boundaries, again using the timeout here, and also this kind of emotions, the boundary should be drawn for only one domain. Let us say they have an issue related only to the caretake of children or giving attention to the children. The issue should not be generalized to the kitchen issues, going out issues, holidaying issues, none of these issues. So you have to limit that boundary to them. The problem cannot be generalized for each and every domain within the household or within the relationship. So end of it, how the entire therapy works: first you get them into an agreement to create boundaries, time, and you have to create safe place for them to discuss, express the negative emotions or the painful emotions, and stress upon the role of significant others. They can take friends, they can take other family members who can emotionally and morally support them, but definitely not if they are giving them the negative leads. Then they can come back to you and they can confide to you. So these things have to be done, because even if they are married couples, the personalities differ. Even the twins are not having the same personality, keep it in mind. And their attitude, perception of problems, the way they were brought up, all these differs. Okay, they only need help to translate each other's meanings of behavior. So all the problems, like I said, communication, behavior, emotion, all these are happening. Why? Because of the differences in the environment that they are brought up. So now they love each other, but they need help from your end to translate the behavior meanings. Okay, how they perceive. So help them to change their perception of each other. Increase the positive behaviors among them. Let them have reinforcement, what we call as like gifts need not be only kind, appreciation for each other, going out for a walk, cooking something which is very good, which they like. So today, if 1 week they were able to peacefully solve their problem without high tone, tempo and volume, yes, you can tell them, you can celebrate. Do small little things for each other. Everything is dependent on their likes, financial capabilities, their culture. So nothing can be imposed. We cannot impose a western model here. It is totally to the individual discretion. And help them view each other's complaints as expectations and not as complaints. Okay, identify and modify this in case of each partner. This is very very important. Definitely it is an uphill task, but the results are wonderful. They only need to understand the context in which misunderstandings arise. So if the context is viewed better, the misunderstandings will diminish. Okay, in many families it is very very difficult for them to change roles given the gender. Like if husband goes and makes coffee in the kitchen or cuts vegetable, they're staying in a joint family, the larger family implications would be there, which may not be acceptable and it may lead to further problems. So when you're giving such suggestions, please be culturally informed. This is my very very important suggestion to all of you who are working in the line of counseling and therapy. And changes are not very easy initially. Even if the husband, let me say, is making a cup of coffee or cleaning the kitchen, it may be very difficult for the wife to accept. but slowly she will accept. So it takes that time. So you tell them it takes time for you to be secure and comfortable with each other's corrective emotions and behavior. So today I made coffee, it's not that he is very comfortable or she is very comfortable. It takes about a week to 15 days to start feeling a little comfortable. Okay, in short, the process of this entire therapy is establishing rapport, conducting an assessment, appropriate assessment. Based on the assessment, setting the goals for the therapy, that is what changes need to be brought about. Then you choose your interventions, you have a follow up, and terminate the case. So, this is in short the marital counseling. Thank you very much.